been a bad boy. I've been a bit of a bad boy. Just before I came up to create today's audio of chat and fun, just before, I have been shopping, boys and girls. First of all, I went swimming, and then I went shopping in a large supermarket up the top there. And I was tempted, boys and girls. I hate to say it, I was tempted. I was tempted by the sausage rolls, and for the first time ever, I have purchased pre-cooked roast potatoes. Oh, it was just too much. It was too much. They were sitting there, these sausages. First of all, I thought I'll have a cheese and onion pasty, which I usually have, but they only have Cornish pasties, and I'm always a bit funny with those. Are you? I'm never quite sure what's in a Cornish pasty. Of course, I mean, we don't want the people from Cornwall writing in and giving us lists now. Lists. Not lisps. Lists of ingredients that should be in Cornish pasties. We all know that, dear. It depends what you buy them from. I mean, how do I know there's not a diced up carrot? Not a diced up cat. A diced up cat inside one of them. You don't know, dear. Although I would assume that the supermarket, being a very well-known one up the road, wouldn't dream of putting our dear little pussies chopped up inside of a Cornish pasty. Anyway, they didn't have any. They only had Cornish pasties. They didn't have the cheese and onion ones. So I saw, at the corner of my beady eye, I did see a sausage roll. Just one left. I thought I'd better get that quickly. So I ordered, can I have a sausage roll, please? Thank you very much. And then they were next to them. I saw them. I saw the rather delicious-looking pre-cooked roast potatoes. Only 99 pence a portion. Bargain! Gling! You know I like a bargain, dear. I can't walk past a bargain. Gling! So I said, well, can I have a portion of those potatoes as well, please? So he said, yeah, okay, mate. So he got another bag, and at that point, I quickly worked out in my mind that if I told him to put them in the same bag as the sausage roll, I'd probably get more than I was entitled to. You see, because it's supposed to be 99 pence for a certain amount of weight. So very quickly I said, oh, it's all right, mate, put them in the same bag as the sausage roll. And him being a young chap behind there, they are usually the best people to do business with, young chaps, because they always give you a bit more. Whatever it is, they give you a bit more. And he started loading these potatoes in that bag. I thought, oh, I'm going to enjoy these, my love. Yes. So I continued to do my shopping. I purchased 8 hyacinth bulbs. Yes, hyacinth bulbs. Very important, that bit on the end there. Hyacinth bulbs. Do you have those in Australia, hyacinth bulbs, or is it too hot for those over there, I think, maybe? Beautiful fragrant flowers that come up in the spring. I bought some of those, and I'm going to do with those, I'm going to put them on my windowsill in the bedroom and possibly here in the Mirrorball Studios to create a lovely fragrance throughout the house come springtime. So I bought some of those and some milk. Foolishly, I doubled up on the milk. I'd already bought 2 pints at a shop before that I'd popped in to get the milk, and I forgot I had it in my bicycle bag. So I purchased another 2 pints of milk, and then I went out to the checkout, and off I went. Walked out the shop. Of course, it's pouring down with rain. Poor old Chris Reardon on his bicycle with his waterproofs, fortunately. But I thought, oh, I don't want to cycle home in this. So I hate to say it, I was one of those sad old gits who sit on a bench, eating, watching the world go by. I was one of those. Yep, I found a bench just under outside the supermarket, they've usually got a bit of roof, haven't they? And it's like a bench there, so I sat on that all on my own, and I got out my bag of roast potatoes and my sausage roll, and I nibbled away, dear, watching the world go by. And I thought, how fantastic is this? You often hear of old people, perhaps in their 70s or 80s, who say, yeah, what did you do today? Oh, I just sat on a bench and watched people walking by. And I did that today. And it's fantastic. It's fantastic. You see what naughty people get up to. For example, I didn't say anything, but I was going to. A lady, and I'm shocked and horrified by this, boys and girls, a lady had the audacity to park in a mother and child parking bay without a child. It's a liberty, that's what it is, dear. You can't do that. You can't park in mother and child parking bays without a baby or a child. I mean, I was going to offer up my services. Seeing as Mummy and Daddy are not here, I am looking for another mummy. Who is it? I am. And I thought to myself, maybe I could offer myself up to be her child. But anyway, she looks a little bit snotty, you know the sort. She was on the mobile phone all the time, and she got out of the car and went into the supermarket. No child. Not even a child's chair in the back of the car. I nearly went in and reported her, and I thought, oh, I can't be bothered. So I completed my food, and then jumped on my bike, and the rain had stopped, and I cycled all the way home. There we are, and here I am. But not only that, I was extra naughty. Because I don't know what's come over me today. On the way home, I have to cycle past a newsagent. You know what they have in newsagents, don't you? They have crisps and sweeties. And I don't know why. It's a very, very rare thing I do in the daytime. But I stopped, got off my bike, went into the newsagent, and I purchased a medium bar of Galaxy. It doesn't stop there. And oh, what's that Galaxy thing? It's like a flake. Oh, what's that now? Is it a Ripple? Is it a Ripple? I think it is. And a Galaxy Ripple. And I ate those as well before I come up to speak to you today. And I had a cup of tea, and then here I am now. So I am feeling today particularly fat. I don't know what came over me today. Usually, I'll have the swim and I'll come straight home and then I'll have something nice to eat. But today, I'm afraid it's been a sausage roll, a portion of roast potatoes, a bar of Galaxy and a Ripple. I just don't care anymore. We just don't care. Especially after last night at Bingay in West 5. Someone said, are you pregnant? I mean, I had a look at. I mean, it's not that bad, is it? I don't understand it. I'm doing 200 sit-ups a day. I'll get all this advice from everyone. You do. There's another lad in there last night. Great name he's got, Campbell. Nice lad. And he said to me that I should give up bread for 6 months. I said, give up bread, dear? My lovely wholemeal bread that I spend hours and hours baking in my homemade bread machine downstairs. It's not possible, dear. He reckons, right? He reckons it's harder to give up bread than smoking. What do you reckon on that, eh? Anyway, so I'm here today, and while I was up there, I thought about the comments that those people made, and I thought, blow you, and I bought a bar of Galaxy. Because we don't care, and we feel marvellous. I feel marvellous. Welcome along to the show. That was a long intro today. My name's Chris Reardon. This is United Kingdom Talk, and you are welcome to join in by email by writing to Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. One other thing I've learnt this week is never buy cheap washing up liquid. The other day I'd run out of washing up liquid or something, and I went down to it was the newsagent actually, and they do their own brand washing up liquid. Well, I bought that 3 days ago, and I've already got through half a bottle. Completely and utterly useless. You've got to buy, I think you've got to go up the supermarket and buy the branded stuff. And, I mean, newsagent, they do the branded stuff, but it's blooming expensive. Called it. I went in, was it a few months ago, and I fancied a cake. Cadbury's do a chocolate Swiss Gatto, which is really nice. It's like a sponge cake with lots of bits of chocolate in it. And I picked this up in the newsagent with about £3.50 a minute, and it was more than that. I said, how much? And it was, I think it was a touch under £5, £4.50 or something. And I said, no, I'm not paying that for that, because I knew damn well at the supermarket it was something like £2.50 or something, you know, something ridiculous. I said, far too expensive. But there's the lesson is, do not buy cheap washing up liquid. Learn that one today, because you'll need half a bottle for a small teacup to do it. All right? Okay, here we go with the emails today then. First of all, Wayne Anonymous writes, Chris, Ross P, who does a podcast as well, as you know, the Ross P podcast. If you type in Ross Pads Out podcast in Google, you will find it, okay? It says, Ross does not know if I am a man or a woman. That is too good an opening to leave unanswered. Well, Wayne, I hate to tell you this, but What are you then? Because I get very confused. I mean, I spoke to you last Christmas on the phone. Do you remember? And even then, I found it difficult to tell, to be honest. Are you a man or a woman? As you can see, Wayne, I am a man. Big, butch and magnificent, as Tony Blackburn would say. I am a real man here. Real men... Maybe we should rename the show Real Man Radio. What do you think? Just a thought, Wayne. Between your advice to delay buying that house and my advances, we might not just saving from financial ruin. And that's from Wayne. Thank you, Wayne. Well, Wayne, I'm afraid we have wasted our breath. Listening to the latest Ross P podcast. Remember, if you want to find Ross Patzout's podcast, easiest thing to do, because I don't have the address with me, is type it into Google. Ross Patzout podcast, and you'll find his little podcasts there. But Ross and his lovely girlfriend Donna, who I spoke to the other day on the phone. Yes, I spoke to the lady herself. She sounds very posh. I don't know what she's doing with Ross. I mean, you've heard the expression, marry under you, haven't you? Well, if she marries Ross, God, dear me. I mean, you don't get much lower than that, to be honest. Well, maybe I'm a bit lower than that, possibly. Shouldn't really marry underneath you, Donna, dear. Come on, someone much better than Ross. Listening to his podcast, his Geekcast, according to Donna. Ross makes a Geekcast every week. According to the Geekcast, they have not taken a blind bit of notice of any of us, Wayne, and have now put in an offer for a house. Now, apparently, and you see, you know, he doesn't come straight out with answers. I said, how much was it? And instead of telling me the price he paid for the house, he immediately told me what it was costing, and then what it was reduced to, and now what it was now. So he starts, oh, you want to hear him, dear? Oh, anything to make an excuse. He starts off, right, well, it was 179,000. I said, well, and then how much was it then? He said, we only paid 142, was it? So, I can't remember now. But anyway, they got it for cheaper than what it was first on. But that's the market now, Ross. If you'd only wait another year, I think you paid around 150, didn't you? Something like that. I tell you what, if you had waited a year, you would have paid for the same house a maximum of 140, I reckon. Possibly going as low as 130, 125. Absolutely. But you won't listen, will you? You won't listen. You just go making your little mistakes, dear. Yes, you will have a nice house. Yes, it will be better than where you are now. Yes, you will have your love nest. Because I think Ross wants to have little Rosses, don't you, my love? Can you imagine that? Well, at least you'll have some listeners, dear. I mean, what child wouldn't want to listen to their dad on the radio? Eh? Do you want me to be Godfather? Oh, yes. Perhaps that could be a whole new film, The Godfather. What do you mean, the grandfather? I beg your pardon, I'm not that old yet. What a liberty. Anyway, Wayne, he's gone out and bought a house. They've put in an offer for a house, and I do believe it's been accepted. So, complete waste of our breath, as always. No point in ever trying to offer Ross P advice ever go. Don't come running to us when you get into financial difficulties, dear. That's it. We could have saved you between £15,000 and £25,000. Just imagine, right? Ross, just imagine all the new equipment for your geek casts that you could have done with that. Eh? You could even have upgraded your house to have a spare room for the Geek Cast Studio. There you go. You got to know, this is the Mirrorball Studio. You need to rename one of your rooms the Geek Cast Studio. Yes, we love it. Eh? Thank you, Wayne. Nice to hear from you. And do let us know if indeed you are a man or a woman. It's so hard to tell these days. It really is. And also, thank you very much to Wayne for sending me a villa for sale for $2. Someone is selling a villa for just $2. So I have had a look on the site, but quite honestly, I don't think it's suitable for Reardon Town. We are, if you're a new viewer or listener to the show, you might like to know that we are hoping at some point here on United Kingdom Talk to all club together and purchase our very own town. Or possibly, have we got enough people for a city, I wonder? We could have a city. Now, in this town and city, all religions, all faiths, all colours, everyone will be welcome. There's only one real thing that I must insist on, and that is you have a personality. Yes, you need a personality. There's plenty of people I've worked with in the past who don't have one, and it's awful. You need a personality, and from what I see from your letters, you all have personalities. Incidentally, by the way, Joy in Acton is doing very well at the moment. I am in regular communication with her. She's doing well, just in case you were wondering, okay? Oh, and I nearly forgot to apologise, actually. Those of you that watch the show, on the last show, will have noticed we lost the picture or after about 20 minutes, wasn't it? No idea what happened there. I have a feeling, because I have a mouse here. I have a mouse where... There on the stair, where on the stair, right there, a little mouse with clogs on, where on the stair, going clip, clippily clop on the stair, oh yeah. I have a mouse here. I've got a feeling I hit the mouse and stopped the video, so I do apologise about that. You only had a few minutes of my happy smiling face in front of you, didn't you, eh? Don't forget that email address, it's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk to join in. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, look who it is. It's Amy's wife. Oh, sorry, not Amy's wife. It's Joe. Amy hasn't got a wife. No, she's got a husband. It's Amy, Joe's husband. Now, Joe, of course, is now in Peru, helping people less fortunate than himself. And it's a fantastic thing to do. And can't wait to get his first email from Peru there. Amy writes, "Hi Chris, last night Joe and I were listening to your show from the 16th of September. You brought up the conversation on Hurricane Ike and the eye of the storm. Because I was watching a news programme a couple of weeks ago, it is now, isn't it, of course, and they were talking about hurricanes and things like that, Hurricane Ike, and the news reporter said when the eye came over, that was the worst part of the storm and the winds were really bad. And I had always assumed that the actual eye of the storm is the centre bit, okay? If you can imagine a circle, okay? And around a circle go the winds. Well, it's common sense, isn't it, that the winds around it will be going faster than the bits inside. And surely the bit dead in the middle will be going very, very, very slowly. You think about it, you know, the further out you go, the faster the winds go. So this bloke doing his reporting on the news was saying when the eye came over, the winds were at their worst. And I thought, that doesn't sound right. And I mentioned it on a couple of shows ago. So, you American friends of ours, knowing full well about hurricanes and tornadoes, something I'm very pleased to say that we don't really experience here in the UK. I asked you, and Amy has written this in. She says, the subject hit very close to home for me. My dad and stepmum live in Houston, Texas, where Hurricane Ike hit a couple of Saturdays ago. I was able to talk to my dad several times on Friday to make sure they were prepared. Once the storm made landfall, all we could do was watch the news. It was heartbreaking. Hurricane Ike was the size of Texas. Now, I don't know about you, if you're here in the UK or indeed over any of Europe, I don't know how you perceive the size of a hurricane to be. I always perceived it to be like, I don't know, almost like a very powerful whirlwind, not enormously wide. Say, I don't know, 100 metres. But hurricanes are indeed not 100 metres. Even when you see them on the television, it's hard to perceive such a thing unless you've actually been in one or seen it with your own eyes. And here's Amy saying that the hurricane was the size of Texas. Can you imagine that? The width of the storm was 600 miles wide, with winds of 110 miles an hour. The eye of the storm covered the entire city of Houston. 4 million people live in Houston. My dad was able to contact family late Saturday by cell phone. He let us know they are safe. The storm lasted about 24 hours, but the eye of the storm was over Houston for about 12 hours. My dad said the wind was very loud and at times the house would shake. His home suffered roof damage and was leaking due to the heavy rain. Trees were uprooted and of course no power or running water. Debris was everywhere. Dad stated they were very, very lucky compared to the widespread damage. There have been reports that it could take up to a month before power will be restored. My father's work office was also destroyed. There were several towns along the Texas and Louisiana coastline that have been completely devastated. Homes and businesses gone, and not to mention the loss of lives. My thoughts and prayers go out to all the people who've lost everything. May God bless them as they try to rebuild their lives. And it's just... Can you imagine, and I certainly can't, a lifetime of material things, shall we say. Have a look around your house where you are. All this stuff you've collected over years, some of it useful, some of it complete and utter rubbish. I mean, there's a lot of utter rubbish here. I've got a loft full of old CD singles, which will probably never see the light of day again. I don't know why I don't chuck them out. A lot of people say put them on eBay, but in all honesty, I don't think they're worth anything, really. But can you imagine, 1 minute it's there, a bit of wind, and then, if the wind's strong enough, just in a few minutes, everything gone. Difficult to understand that, isn't it? Just imagine it all suddenly gone. Scary, scary. And indeed that's what happened to some of the people in Houston. P.S. she says, I think you are right about the eye of the storm. From what I understand, the power of the storm intensifies the closer you get to the eye, but the actual eye is calm. It's the wall of the eye that is so dangerous. I could be totally wrong on this. Hope some listeners will let us know. Have a wonderful day. That's from Amy in Tennessee. Thanks very much, Amy. Nice to hear from you, my darling. Yeah, I'm sure it's that eye bit. That's when people make the mistake of going out, don't they? And I believe the wall of the eye comes back very, very suddenly. So you can... you imagine, I suppose, a wind of 110 mile an hour. If that hits you, must be the same as being knocked down by a very fast-moving car, isn't it? Scary, scary, scary. And as I say, we are lucky here in the UK not to have such things. Thanks, Amy. Nice to hear from you. Got to say hello to Sheree, who is now using the Wii Fit. The Wii Fit. I don't know if my sister's got one of those. I think my sister's got one of those. But what a good idea to actually use a computer game. Joy in action. What's a Wii Fit, you're wondering? Right, the Wii it's like this computer game. But instead of computer games that you and I know, Joy, this computer game has actually got attachments like tennis rackets and baseball bats and things like that. So you actually stand up in front of the television and get some exercise rather than sitting down there with your two thumbs pushing buttons like I did as a child with Pac-Man. Boo! We love the Pac-Man. We love the Pac-Man. Don't we? Anyway, the Wii Fit is like an extension of that. And I believe it comes with a stepping board and other bits and pieces. And you actually keep fit while you're watching this television thing. This computer game. Very clever, really. Of course, the best way to keep fit is to go out and start walking around or going swimming and stuff like that. But for those people that don't do any of that, and there's plenty of them around, it doesn't matter how much you advise them that they need to move around a bit and do exercise and things like that. For those people who just want to sit at home and play computer games, it's a good thing. And I think it's brilliant. Anyway, good luck to Sheree, who is now doing Wii Fit, and she says she's now in, this did come in a couple of weeks ago, and now in pain from the physical exercise and hurt too much. Serves you right for getting over enthusiastic. Yes, Sheree, my darling, who's in Birmingham. Head of... Oh, I've got Central Television there, isn't it? Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. We'll have a bit of Birmingham for you. Where is it now? Where is it now? I like to have a little bit of music for those people. Here we go. For Sheree... Hang on. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. I'm doing this wrong now. For Sheree in Birmingham... I really shouldn't be playing that. Do you know, I love my little bits of music I've got here. Sheree in Birmingham, take it easy, dear. You shouldn't be on that. I mean, do the Wii Fit thing or the Wii Fit thing, but take it easy, dear. It's like these people who go start jogging and things like that. Now, I haven't been jogging for a few months because it gave me bad knees. I think that's part of why the weight went back on, but. Yeah, that's the way it is. But if I started again, I wouldn't be able to suddenly put on my running shoes and go up there and start jogging for 45 minutes. Probably be lucky to get between 3 and 5 minutes the first time. Take it easy, Sheree, darling. Start slowly and build up, my love. All right? Oh, talking to people who exercise, my sister, I'm pleased to say, has taken up swimming. Yep. And from what I guess, she's actually doing quite well. Although she did kind of pull the wool over my eyes when I said, how many lengths did you do the first time? She said, all 10. I said, that's very good. And I thought to myself, 10 lengths? First time, dear? I thought, that's good. She said, yeah. She said, I'm quite pleased with myself. And then I found out that it's like something like a 10-metre pool. So it's actually not far at all. But good. To be doing something suddenly like that when you don't do exercise. It's all good. Swim is one of the best things, okay? Should I give you the email address again? Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I tell you what, we haven't given out the... where is it written down there? The postal address for wages, have we? If I can find it. I might have to do it from memory. Just a minute. Is it up here? Oh, what have I done with that? I've got to... Hang on a minute. Wait, lean over there. Oh, I don't know where it is. I'll try and do it from memory. I'll give you the post address after this email, all right? And it's from Gloria in one of my favourite places of the world, Florida, where the lightning... Where are we? Where they had those lightning storms. Hang on. Oh, I think that's going to be under effects. Let me see. Ah, there we are. Let's try that again. Right, ready? Hello to Gloria, who's in Florida, home of the lightning storm. We love it. Hi, Chris. I got a good laugh listening to you talk gobbledygook. On a previous show, I was mentioning the best way to get rid of salesmen on the telephone is to start talking gobbledygook. Right? So they ring up. Hello, is that Mr. Reardon? And you never, ever say yes. Could be someone trying to get you. The Child Support Agency or anyone like that. They might be out to get you. Don't say yes. Never, ever say yes when someone picks up the phone. Hello, is that Mr. Reardon? No, who's that then? Hello, is it Mr. Reardon? Well, who's that? Never tell them who you are. Never, ever tell them. You don't know who that is at the end of the phone. You really don't. In fact, I rung up, I think it was, did I ring them or did they ring me? I think it was the bank. It was actually the bank once. And they said, and we were having this conversation. Can't remember, I think it was to do with a standing order I'd set up. And in the end, he said, all right, well, I'll just put it through now. Can I take your details now? And I said, well, hang on a minute. I don't know you're from my bank. And give him his due. He said, you're right there. Well done, Mr. Reardon. I'll tell you what, I'll give you our phone number. And if you ring us back and ask for something. I said, well, how do I know that's the bank's phone number? He said, look it up on the internet. I tell you what, look it up on the internet and then ring whatever branch, he said, and ask for me. So that's what I did. But you should never, ever say when someone rings up your phone, hello, is that Mr. Whatever? Don't say yes. Find out who it is. And even then, don't admit to being who you are. I never admit to being Chris Reardon. Not in 1,000 years. It's all a lie. I'm an imposter. I'm not really here. Right? Anyway, so I had a salesman ring up. And now to get rid of salesman, I start talking gobbledygook. And they say, sorry? And eventually they put the phone down. I had this problem with a mobile telecommunications company years ago. I did about 4 years ago now. I won't mention the name anymore. We can't really mention names anymore because there's so many people listening and watching the show. And they get ever so upset, these companies, dear. Oh, they get... my heart bleeds for all of you. It was a mobile phone company, and I had terrible problems with them. They were, at the time, the cheapest of all of the phone companies by far, okay? By about a third. So if someone was charging £10 for something, they were charging like 6 or 7. It was very, very good deals. But the customer services absolutely sucked. It was the worst ever customer services I had ever come across in my life. Really was. Anyway, close the account. The bills continue to come. And you'd make a phone call to him, right? And he would say, you owe £25. You'd make a phone call the next day, of course, always someone else that would answer, usually in India, and they would say, we owe you £10, I'll send a cheque in the post. And it was like that. It was a joke. Absolute nightmare. The phone calls continued to come. Eventually, I started talking gobbledygook. And they just put the phone down in the end. Best way to get rid of them. Go away. We don't want to listen to your vile voices, wherever you are. No salesman ringing here. Carl will be there now. Carl in Yorkshire. Oh, they're only trying to do a job. Oh, get a grip, Carl. Get a grip, Carl. Stop always seeing the other side of things. How are you, mate? All right, my mate Carl. He's very helpful, he is, Carl. Anyway, back to the email. I seem to have digressed a bit, don't I? I got a good laugh listening to you talk gobbledygook. My father had a similar way of getting rid of telephone salespeople. Here, listen to this for advice. He would talk to them in Polish. Well, it's the same thing, Gloria. Gobbledygook in Polish, isn't it? I'm only joking, dear. After a minute or so, they just gave up and hung up. That always gave my dad a big laugh. Yeah, me too. Do you know what else I like to do? You know, when you do get the salespeople on, I let them talk, okay? And they go on and on and on. And at the end I say, no, and put the phone down. Ah! We hate them. If you're a telephone salesman, we hate you. We all hate you. Hate, hate, hate. I know you're only trying to do a job, but it just gets on my bleeding nerves. Please don't ring. If I want something, I'll go out and buy it or order it on my keypad. Incidentally, I haven't bought anything today. I haven't bought anything since the last show. You didn't see my those of you with vision, you wouldn't have seen my new multimeter because the video went off on the last show, didn't it? Look at this new multimeter, marvellous. Marvellous. I haven't got anything to do with it. It just looks good on the shelf. Only £13 for that. Look. It's got buttons and everything on it. Look. Lovely. We love it. Must purchase a new gadget soon. Gloria says, in the United States, We now have a no-call program. You sign up by phone or online, indicating you don't want any unsolicited calls. Only calls from or on behalf of political organisations, charities and telephone surveyors would still be permitted, as would calls from companies with which you have a existing business relationship. It works very well. If you do get a phone call, you can file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission. And that's from Gloria in Florida. Thank you for that, Gloria. Bit of information. Here in the UK, incidentally, we have a similar thing called the telephone preference service. And you register with them. And then after that, you shouldn't get any more phone calls. And I get phone calls on the radio number. I have a local radio number for when I was doing a phone-in program a couple of years ago now, and I've still got that number, and that's the number I get the calls on. But usually I let them go to answer phone anyway. I don't gets on my nerves, doesn't it? All these people ringing up all the time. Okay, we've got what am I going to do now? I was going to do something now. What is it going to do? Oh yes, the address. The address, which I can't find written down, so I'll have to do it from memory. Are you ready? If you want to write into the show on a piece of paper, put it in an envelope, little stamp on the front. Here comes the address. It's Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG42 9ED. Once again, it's Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG42 9ED, United Kingdom. Alright, don't forget, if you're outside the UK, please put United Kingdom at the end. Onwards! Onward! Here we go. Oh, incidentally, if you are in the UK, TV programme I watched for the first time last Saturday, really very, very good, called Merlin. Okay? BBC One, Saturday night around between 6 and 7 o'clock. I've got into watching a bit of TV at the moment, and Merlin, it's fantastic. It's about Merlin and Sir... Oh, it's not Sir Lancelot, is it? Sir... Oh, who was the king? King Arthur. Merlin and King Arthur. The first episode was last week, so second episode. Fantastic. Have a watch of that. It's really very clever. Very good indeed. Merlin on BBC One television here in the UK. Saturday nights between sort of 6 and 7 o'clock, okay? Oh, and don't forget to watch Casualty as well, because I like Casualty. Even though, I don't know what they've done. They're filming it in a different way somehow. I'm not sure what they're doing with it. Onward. Hello to Paul from Ashby. Hello, Paul. Oh, nice to hear from you, my friend. Who says, hi, Chris, you mentioned on a recent talk show that you didn't mind paying for your prescriptions, even though they have now gone up to £7 and 10 pence. Yes, very expensive. But actually, my guess is buying this stuff is not as expensive as if you had to buy the drugs at their full price. Don't they kind of spread it around everyone evenly? I think that's how it works. Paul says, for some people who suffer with ill health, this can sometimes be very hard on their wallet or purses. I myself suffer with very dry skin at certain times of the year, and upon seeing the doctor I get prescribed various ointments and creams, most of which help tremendously. The condition is known as psoriasis. Psoriasis, is it? Psoriasis. It's a skin condition with no known cure. Many people suffer from it, and it simply means that your skin replenishes itself 500 times faster than it should. Well, I think, Paul, in your next life, you must come back as a snake. right? Because snakes, they shed the skin, dear. And all over the place, you could leave little bits of Paul Moore everywhere. Leave your shell. What do you reckon? That would be good. They do, don't they? Snakes, they shed skin. You find a whole bit of snake outside somewhere. I'm going to have a look in a minute, see if I can see any. Paul goes on to say, the doctor told me that the best thing for people with my skin problem is sunshine. As you know, living in England, we don't really get much of that. No, it's true enough, isn't it? Mind you, Paul, I know we all like the sunshine, but people actually come on holiday to the UK from hot countries to experience the cold. I know that sounds mad, but they do. They need a break from the heat. So I tried to get away to Spain or Cyprus, Paul says, or anywhere really that's hot at least once a year. I've never been to Cyprus. What's Cyprus like? Is there much to do there in Cyprus? What is there to do in... I'd be interested to know that, Paul, because that's not far, is it? And what's the weather like in sort of... when we're in our winter, what's the weather like in Cyprus? He says, anyway, to cut a long story short, something I find very hard to do, to be honest, Paul. I cannot ever cut a long story short, lovey. Last year, I had a lovely week planned in Majorca to assist my skin problem, only to find that after being in Majorca one day, I was getting worse and worse. So bad that the sunlight was unbearable and my skin became weeping. I was sticking to the pillow. Oh, Paul. So presumably when you turned around, did it kind of pull a bit of skin off? Jeez. I didn't realise it was as bad as that, my friend. I was so bad that I rang to book a doctor's appointment while in Majorca for the day I returned home. Anyway, upon my return, the doctor immediately ordered me to hospital where I underwent many treatments to try and douse the problem. Luckily, my partner was most kind and tried to keep my spirits up even though I was now in severe pain and indeed had to take a week off work to recover, with creams being applied by nurses for a week. I would like to say that that was very nice. Being pampered by lovely nurses, both male and female, but the pain was awful. I should think it was. Oh, Paul, I didn't realise you had it so bad. Prescription after prescription for the next few weeks cost me £235. That's about $450. I, of course, didn't mind paying, as the pain relief was amazing. My skin condition has now cleared by 500%, and my prescriptions are now down to 4 different types of cream per month. And I feel really fantastic, which is something I haven't felt for years, so that is good news there. But Paul goes on to tell us something that I didn't know. Now listen to this. I just wanted to let you know, and your listeners, that until I spoke to my doctor last week, I was completely unaware that here in the UK, you can pay a one-off price for a year's worth of prescriptions. Now, I had no idea of this. The amount of money I could have saved, I've been told about it last year. Needless to say, I have now paid up front for a year's prescription certificate, which costs for the whole year £102.50. I did give my doctor a funny look when only last week did he say, why don't you buy a prepaid prescription? Yeah, why didn't he tell you the first time? My partner did total up my prescriptions last year, which amounted to a whopping £450. So you would have saved yourself £300 there, Paul. I just thought it may be handy for you to publicise the fact that this yearly prescription is available for those who need constant medication on prescription. Now that I feel so much at ease when visiting the doctor, who may say, let's try these 3 or 4 new creams, all I used to think was, hang on, that's 28 quid. Now I don't care what he prescribes. Well, can you hear that bird outside? Listen. It's gone quiet now. And he says, I have to say my condition has now vastly improved, so that is good news. As for someone like yourself, Chris, who has a simple eye infection, every now and again £7.10 is fine. But for those who do need prescriptions regularly, please tell them to prepay yearly, and you could save an awful lot of money. Thanks for prompting me to write this, and that's best regards from our mate Paul up there at Ashby. So thanks ever so much for that, Paul. I had no idea about that annual prescription thing at all. That's a very good thing, isn't it? Of course, those of you in the UK, again, may have heard recently that a dedicated leader, Gordon Brown, who, and I quote from his recent speech, wants to be our servant and not our master. What a load of twaddle that is. He wants to be our servant. We are listening. Well, we're shouting, dear, and you're not listening. Anyway, he did say that at some point, all cancer sufferers will be able to get their treatment free of charge. So that is good news. But if I'm correct in thinking here that there are certain drugs that can extend the life of a cancer patient, perhaps not save it, but extend the life, and they are not available on the NHS. And I wonder what your feelings are about that sort of thing, wherever you are in the world. Let me give you this scenario. Say, God willing, this won't happen to any of you. Say someone comes along and says, you've got a year to live. And you know, by taking a certain drug, you've got a good chance of having a year and 2 months. Is it worth spending a lot of money on that drug? All right, once again, there's a scenario, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that. If I said to you, and once again, I hope this isn't for any of you. If it is, then I hope I haven't upset you by asking this. If someone said to you, you've got a year left, however, if you take these sort of drugs, you'll get a year and a month. But it's going to cost you £20,000. Is it worth spending the £20,000 to get another month? What do you think? Let us know on the email, okay? Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Once again, hello to Lee. Lee is a relatively new listener, aren't you? Our mate Lee, who says, I'm glad you found a way to cope when you get stressed out. Yeah, I was talking about my gardening. He says, I'm now thinking of getting some bulbs for the garden. Oh, it's marvellous. Marvellous. You need... It is really lovely and therapeutic, Lee, to be able to go out there and put bulbs in the garden. Or if you haven't got a garden, maybe you've got pots. Have you got a balcony with little pots? Just as good, get yourself some big pots and put bulbs in. And of course, you can't. Gardening is something you can't rush. Now, I've got to be honest, I'm not the most patient person, particularly in traffic jams. I mean, Monday, funny thing is, on Monday for the karaoke, let me just clear my throat. On the Monday, I actually got stuck in traffic, and a 45-minute journey took me 2.25 hours, and I just find it hard to cope. But gardening, of course, you have to be patient. You have to wait. Those plants come up when they want to, not before. And I love it. I love doing the gardening, Lee. And let me see. He says, I only recently started listening to your show regularly, and now I'm hooked. I hook you in like a fish, unable to escape. Oh, I'm a fish, and I can't get off the hook. You've been hooked in like a fish. He says, I was really surprised you read out my email. Thanks for sharing your experiences. Well, I like to try and read out all the emails, Lee. I do. And you've taken the time to write them. The least I can do is read them out. And I do try and read them all out. Now, sometimes, as is at the moment, I do get a bit of a backlog of emails. So sometimes you might have to wait a few shows for your email to come up. But they always do it in the end, okay? They always do. And I do apologise if that goes for anyone. I do apologise. Sometimes they do take a while to come through. It's only because there are emails before you, and that's the only reason. Plus, of course, the fact that I start rabbiting on about something else. He says, sorry to mention a downbeat topic, but it's something we all have to face, so thanks for discussing it. I would never worry my mum with my concerns about coping after she passes. It's a morbid subject. Yeah, it's something, you know, not just you, but anyone else, I suppose. I mean, I never did. Can you imagine going up to your mum and saying, Mum, I don't know, what will I do when you die? I don't think you should do that. On the other hand, I suppose if you did, Mother wouldn't mind. She'd understand. Mums do, you know. They know everything. Don't they? We've got a few mothers watching and listening to the show at the moment. You know everything, don't you, eh? Yes, mums know everything, I'm telling you now. There was many times on my occasion where my mum was right. I thought I was right, but now I'm on a slightly advanced years from when I was a child. Mum was right. Lee also has a cat, Lucy, who is 15. Lucy the cat, who's 15 years old. I've had her since she was a kitten. She seems to be losing her marbles a little, but I just reassure her and treat her with lots of love. That's all you can do. You've got to love your cats. Wow, one of your cats is over 20. Yes, she is tiny. She is over 20. I love your spirit and get up and go. You're an inspiration. I look forward to each new show now to see what's going on in the world. And he was also saying, how many shows are there? There's 3 a week. Now, depending how you watch or listen to the show, depends when those shows come out. But if you listen to the podcast or watch the video, and you would watch those by going to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. On there, the new shows go up there UK time at midday on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. Okay, that's when the new recorded show goes on there. That's only for the podcast by going to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. New shows on there Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 12 midday UK time. On a lighter note, have you ever thought of auditioning for Big Brother? You'd make a good housemate. You must be joking, Lee. I would never ever go on such a load of total and utter rubbish. It is rubbish. Absolute load of poppycock. There is no way, not even for £1 million, I would not. And there are people there now saying, oh, he'd do it for £1 million. No, I would not. I can't think of anything more boring than sitting in a house with the same people for weeks on end. No, thank you. Wouldn't do it. Absolutely. It's the worst ever sort of television, that in my opinion. I hate it. Yes, I know it's popular and I know loads of people watch it. Doesn't mean it's good. It's rubbish. And I've got no idea who was in it this year. No idea who was in it last year. I can't... Who won it last year? Wasn't it that blonde girl? That divvy blonde girl? What's her name? Oh, she was on some programme I was watching the other morning. And she got married to that boy in the band, I think, or started going out with some boy in a band. Oh, you know, the blonde one. Thick as 2 planks. What's her name? I don't know. He says, P.S. Can you tune in live to the show? Is it pre-recorded and you have to wait for it to be uploaded? Yes, it's pre-recorded. Doesn't matter what way you listen or watch a show, it is recorded, okay? Not very far in advance, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Love to do it live at some point, but at the moment it's just not possible, all right, Lee? Finally, oh, 2 more to... Oh, we got a birthday. We got a birthday. Oh, and it... Oh, good job I got to this. He'd never forgive me. Hang on a minute. And it's a birthday for Tez the Burger Turner, who has reached the grand old age of 23. Are you ready, Tez? Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tez the Burger Turner. Happy birthday to you. Yeah! Oh, happy burger, Tez the Burger Turner, who is a level 5 presenter. How fantastic! Have you got a little gold badge to wear as well? I need a little gold badge. Would I be a level... I'm a rookie. Rookie Reardon here. We love it. Would you be kind enough to sing happy birthday to me on Saturday the 27th of September? I'll be 23. Happy birthday, Tez the Burger Turner. You and everyone listening are welcome to the gathering in Huntingdon near Peterborough. He's having a party... Oh, hang on a minute. Bring your own food and drink? What sort of party is that, dear? I'm not coming to any parties unless you have a free buffet. No buffet? Bring your own food and drink? That's coming on a bayonet. What a cheek, dear. And would you send me a full-size Doctor Who Dalek? No, but you can have a quick look at my small one. My small Dalek. Exterminate. Oh, does it talk? Hang on.
You are an enemy of the Daleks. You must be destroyed.
Yes, you must be destroyed. And I've got to go now. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the show again. Kelsey, I've got an email from you I'll read out on the next show, Kelsey, all right? Thanks a lot. See you soon. From myself, Chris Reardon. Bye-bye now.